La 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 la. Hey, what's up, people? How y'all doing? It's 3:32 in the morning. I just got off of work about like maybe 15 to 20 minutes ago. Got a couple of 12-hour shifts because we're behind on production. First shift has been, well, I don't know what's been going on, to be honest with you. They just haven't been making the quotas that we need to make. So 12-hour shifts this week. We had two of them. We have two more next week. Oh, Wednesday and Thursday. But I took a vacation day last week for today, and I didn't even know there was going to be 12. So those two 12s and Friday off, beautiful, because I'm home all day tomorrow. So I really don't need to go to sleep. But I'm tired as shit, but I can't go to sleep. And I had like 2 hours of sleep today, right? Before today, because I had a 12-hour shift last night. Got off at 3, stayed up till 6, woke back up at like 8, and I've been up ever since. And I only had a fucking Sheets breakfast sausage, egg, and cheese with jalapeno. It was good too. It was good. I wouldn't spend $5.49 for it again, but I was hungry, so I did, and it was good. I'll say that much. It didn't taste like powdered egg and fake biscuit. It was actually pretty decent. Anyway, though, how's everybody doing, man? I hope everybody's doing well. Me, my family, we're doing better than we were not too long ago. I'm gonna share with you, what happened recently in our household because I believe it should be addressed. You know what I'm saying? And I believe it should be addressed simply because of the fact that this is something that I've talked about since the beginning of my channel, on all my social media platforms. Is how much I love my children, how much I want to reunite my children, how I would never throw my children out. And some may say I threw my oldest son out. No, I did not. So for those of you who may or may not have heard on Facebook from my son that I threw him out and all this other shit, no. I gave him three choices after he fucked us twice. And you say, well, how does your child fuck you? Oh, they fuck you. You're parents, you know. Let me give you a little backstory, really brief. Me and his mother didn't work out. They lived with me for a couple of years. Then, for whatever strange reason, she just decided that she wanted to take them. So she did. I had to go to court, fought to get visitation of kids that used to live in my own fucking house. Now, I went through all this shit in court, got visitation, and she didn't even follow it. And the court did absolutely nothing. And the kids didn't even back it up. They kind of just was like, whatever, we're more happier at this moment with mom. So, I saw them when I saw them. And usually that would be whenever she didn't feel like being bothered with them. Or if I just went to wherever they were and saw them. But I was always involved in all my children's lives. But I didn't raise them. He moved with his mom when he was about 4 or 5, and my daughter was about 3 or 4. Somewhere in that general area. So, they grew up with their mom, you know. And for lack of a better word, I'm not even going to really badmouth her. This is not what it's about. She's just not a very decent person in my eyes. To others, she's probably a saint. But as far as I'm concerned, she's not. And that's just me. It's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it, which is why I'm not going to bash her. I'm not going to bash anybody. I'm not even going to bash my son. I'm just going to put out facts. You understand what I'm saying? Facts. No feelings, just plain facts. So, the fact is, my son lived a life that was extremely irresponsible, no accountability, just nothing, like straight bum life, with not having to be a bum. You know what I'm saying? There's like a difference between homelessness and bumness, right? I was homeless literally from March 2021 until October 2023, right? Homeless. Now, does that mean I lived in the streets? No. From time to time, I may have occasionally graced a park bench with my presence or a cardboard box, on the outside of a basement. But that was occasional. For the most part, I had places to stay, or at least inside locations. They weren't necessarily homes. And for those of you who have watched the YouTube channel long enough, you've seen some of the different places that I've called my temporary home, right? Anyway, so now I have my own place, right? Finally settled myself back down, because it's not like I never had my own place. It's just I left from it to get away from a volatile situation in which I didn't want to hurt the people that I loved. And there's just so much shit going on in my head, I couldn't deal with it there. You know, COVID was a motherfucker. It was a motherfucker. Anyway, though, right? So, bam. COVID happens. Now, mind you, my oldest son has been around me his entire life. His entire life. Like, there's not one point of his life, 1 year of his life, I can say that I was not present, except for maybe when I moved away. But he was older by that time. You know, he was 18 or older by the time I was, like, when I left from New Hampshire. The ones that suffered mostly when I made my departure were my two youngest sons. But we'll get back to that, right? So let's fast forward. I'm out here. I'm doing what I can. I've gone through hell. My sons have gone through hell. And we've managed to eke out an existence that works for us. Doesn't work for everybody. Doesn't work for everybody. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who would say your methods of raising your children are unorthodox and somewhat dangerous. Well, that's your opinion. My kids are safe and they're sound. They're not injured, haven't been to the hospital for any fucked up shit. They're not on drugs. They don't do drugs. How do I know this? Because I'm with my kids all the time. Except for when I'm at work. And you're probably like, well, when you're at work, they could be doing drugs. My kids don't like drugs. They don't like what they've seen it do to other people. You gotta remember, their father was an addict. They saw this. They were around their father. Now, they probably don't have any terrible stories to tell about me per se, but life for them at that time period was extremely just up, down, all over the place. And it wasn't just because of me, it was because of another factor. But we're not talking about that. We're keeping this about me and my children, because that's what I made my life about, right? Oldest son. Love him to death. Love him to death, even now. Love him to death, right? No, the stuff that me and my youngest sons have watched him do, the way we've watched him live over the past, maybe pretty much since he graduated from high school, which was, 18, to now, which is 25, we've watched him do absolutely nothing with his life. And I don't mean just nothing. I mean like total, absolute garbage, trash type shit. You know what I'm saying? Living in filth when you don't have to live in filth. To the point where I had to like come off my fucking job on a daily basis to tell these fucking young idiots to clean up after themselves. And anybody who knows them or knew this at the time knows exactly what I'm talking about. Let's not fucking forget that, right? Now, my oldest son has a tendency to talk a lot about what he's gonna do, but then doesn't do anything at all. I've been that way before, in the past. I used to say things, and it's not that I didn't do them, I just didn't do them when I said I was going to do them, and by the time I did do them, nobody cared, so nobody knew about it, and to them, I was a liar, or just talking a lot. So, I've gotten in the habit of shutting the fuck up and just doing what it is I'm going to do, and if people see it, they see it. If they don't, oh well, I don't care, right? I don't do these things for them, I do things for my children. So let's stay on topic here. Bam! Right? Goes to Job Corps, just barely makes it in there because, they cut off at 25 and he turned 25 just after the date, right? Like just after. I mean like a day or two after it. So bam, now he's in Job Corps, he's doing his thing. First he was talking about he's gonna some cyber shit. And I'm talking to my son, I was like, it's not that you're not smart or anything like that, but you do not have the attention span necessary to do cybersecurity. It's a whole lot of math. It's not what it sounds like. It's not like you're watching a camera flying a drone around and shit. You're looking at code. numbers and letters and things. Who the fuck wants to do that all day, staring at a computer screen for malicious code? Nope, you're not gonna want to do that. Anyway, so he went to culinary, which seemed okay. He's cooking, so he says. I see some of the stuff, but I've not yet tasted but one thing that I can make. Like I can make Parmesan fucking garlic fries. I've done it a million times. There's nothing spectacular about that at all. Olive oil, butter, garlic, basil, maybe a little thyme and oregano, maybe some rosemary, and some fresh Parmesan. Splash your fucking butter in there. Once you got all that seasoned together, put the cheese on last. You take that nice mixture. No, you don't pour it over the fries. If you have a nice sized pan or pot, you put the fries in there. Shake it around. You don't want your fries to be all soaked and sopped up with grease. You just want them to have that nice butter garlic flavor. Still be crispy, crunchy, not soggy. Then after that, as long as the fries are still hot, sprinkle that freaking Parmesan. Now if you want the grated stuff, use the grated. I personally like it, shredded, nice and soft. Bam. Get the sharp shit. Stinks like bad feet. Good on the damn shit it will be. And it was. So, bam. We were supposed to have all these cooking competitions, never had any of them. We were supposed to have a taco competition, never had any of that. He was supposed to help out with the business, never did any of that. Nothing that he said that he was going to do, he did. Not one thing. Not one thing. It was very disappointing to sit here and watch it because you're giving this person a chance. I've been told that I throw his past in his face. I didn't throw his past in his face when he came here. I told him what the way things were, what I expect, what we expect, and what the rules and the way we live are. And he agreed to it. So he said. And I guess until he actually got here, then he decided he was going to change the way we do things without prior, telling of us. And we would have told him right then and there, like we did when he tried it the first time, that that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Right? Now, fast forward to the second incident. Now, he would have thought he would have learned from the first one that, we have a set way of doing things and we're going to do it this way. We're not deviating from this because this has worked for us. Okay? Like I said, it doesn't work for everybody, but it's worked for us. We're a unique case. We've dealt with some things that are a little bit different from others. Or maybe it's not, and you're just a different person. We are. The fact of the matter is we went through some shit since we've been here. It's been almost 2 years now, and it's been 2 years of shit. Well, not all of it. Not all of it. I'm not going to lie. So, a lot of it's been really good. A lot of it's been a lot of triumph and just getting through shit. And together. That's the big part. It's not like I go through this and I'm doing this by myself. I mean, yeah, I work. That's about the only thing that I do that they don't do right now because they're too young to. But actually, they do work. They just work on their stuff, which is one day going to be something phenomenal. Like my youngest son does animation and games and stuff. And my older son does, my oldest, since my oldest has disowned me for calling his brothers faggots. That's right, folks. He called his brothers faggots. And one of his brothers is homosexual. What a nice bro. Now, mind you, I'm not the most, accepting of homosexuality. I grew up at a time when it wasn't really acceptable. But not only that, I went through my own experiences with child molestation. And I just automatically assumed that every gay man was a child molester. So I didn't like gays. Couldn't stand them. Hated them. With a fucking passion. With a passion. Couldn't stand anything homo at all. So, it wasn't like my children grew up not knowing these types of things about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm very out and open with my children. So for my 16-year-old son to come to me and tell me this is what it is and this is how it is and it's not what you want it to be, it's what it is, and with confidence. I'm not gonna let nobody fucking say shit to him. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna talk bad to my child. Nobody. Not if you're not outside of my family, not inside the family. Nobody. You don't like who he is or what he's about, don't fuck with him. But definitely don't fuck with him. Because then you're fucking with all of us. And see, that's what he did. Now, mind you, he probably doesn't know that I know. Well, he knows now because I said something to him about it. And of course, he's denying. Why would they lie? Why would his two younger brothers lie? When he first got here, they were excited. They've always been excited to see him. You know what I'm saying? That's their oldest brother. You know? They've never treated him as if he wasn't their brother. And I've never told any of my children that, you know, they aren't supposed to recognize each other as brothers. I never told any of my children that they're half siblings. I don't believe in that half sibling shit. It may be genetically true, but as far as I'm concerned, they came out of my dick. So therefore, they're all brothers. They're all children under one sperm cell nutsack dick, whatever you want to call it. This isn't for kids. Why something that's on 3 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock in the morning would be for children is beyond me. But if you are a child under the age of 18 and your parents do not consent to you watching foul language or mentions of sex or drugs, you should tune out now. Okay, I'm going to wait for all those who may or may not be, watching this video later. I don't think there's anybody watching it now. I doubt it. It's Thursday and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Who the fuck is up? Now, if I did this tomorrow, well, it'd be a different story. There'd probably be a whole bunch of people up. But let me finish this, though, right? So fast forward, incident number 2. It is just a whole bunch of stuff culminating. I filled the refrigerator to the brim with food. So did another person. Food out the ass. Cabinets full. Juice. Food, right? Within a week, gone. Everything fucking gone. In fact, it was like less than a day because like we came home from a cookout. We camped out. No, we didn't camp out. We went to a cookout. I made 2 big ass lasagnas. I think I showed you guys the pictures of them or the videos. Well, on Instagram I did. So if you haven't checked out the Insta, it's on No Order Without Chaos, NOWC or NOWC No Order Without Chaos. Either one you'll find it. Anyway, right? So 2 big ass lasagnas. I mean, one of them was like 15 fucking pounds easy, right? Bam. I gave half of each one to some family friends. Now, mind you, these are full size. Deep, nice deep dish, not shallow. Fucking lasagnas. They were gone by the next day. Like, I didn't even get to take a piece of it with me to work. I had to leave the little piece or a piece for my, son, Jaden, because he doesn't eat fried chicken. I made some fried chicken. He doesn't like fried chicken. So I was like, yeah, you can have the piece that's left. Now, when I looked at it, it was about the size of my head. Maybe half the size of my head. But, pretty decent size. By the time I went to look in the refrigerator to, like, separate it for him and put it away with some foil, it was like 2 bites. Now, who the fuck leaves 2 bites? Like, why do that? Why do that? That's like a slap in the fucking face. I'd rather somebody eat it all so I don't have any of it at all than leave me with 2 fucking bites. That's a tease. Now I want more, and I can't have more because there is no more. Right? Anyway, just food destroyed. Gone. Bam. So, one of the other occupants of the household is like, what's going on with the fucking food? Like, we just had food. Where's the food? I had food. Where's the food? Person jumps up and starts acting like, oh yeah, where is the food? Like, acting like they don't know where the food is, that it's not in their fat ass stomach, right? And then tries to put it off on me as if I'm not handling my responsibilities as a fucking father and a man. Which is funny because my youngest children will tell you if they want to know where the money goes, all they have to do is ask. My phone is here all day. If they want to sit there and figure out what my finances are, all my financial shit's on one of my phones. They could look through it if they want to. I don't care. I have nothing to hide from them. How else are they going to learn about money if I don't show them what I'm doing with it? That's very important, people. It's very important. You need to show your children these things young. As young as possible. As young as that they understand it. And not just This is how you count money. This is one, two. No, 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 no. All that shit. How you pay your bills. What happens when you don't have enough money to cover a bill and you either have to overdraft some shit or how the fees work or not paying back a credit card. Show them the nitty gritty. Show them the real shit so they can see you stressed out about, oh God, it's fucking shit. I can't take it. And not make the same mistakes because maybe they plan better. Or maybe they just learn that they don't need things they think they need because they can't afford them. So they don't buy them. And they don't end up in this fucking rat race of trying to keep a hold of the things that they've attained that they don't really own for whatever strange reason. You know? But anyway, right? Now, mind you, like I said, he was talking all this jazz about what he's going to do, what he's going to do. He's going to do this and work in a restaurant, yada, yada. He got a job in a restaurant. He lasted a day. Now, he's saying he didn't want to stay there because they were unsanitary. I know why he didn't stay there because I know my kid. It was too much for him. He thought kitchens were easy. They're not easy, especially in a fucking restaurant. They're busy as shit. People come in, they want their fucking food. And if you're a small restaurant, well, you're a small restaurant. You have to be fast and flavorful. If you're slow as shit and you serve something somewhat similar to a fast food joint, they're going to go to the fast food place because that's what they'll do, or the majority of them will. Anyway, so that didn't work out right. So then it's like first things first. Now it's Burger King, you know. So I'm like, okay, you got the interview at Burger King, blah, 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 blah. Bam. He just doesn't go. Brags about, you know, talking to us about, yeah, it's right across the street. I could just get there and you'll turn, you know, just nobody's saying anything. No one has said a word. No one said, get a job, go to work, blah, blah, blah. No one has said nothing. You know, I told him he had time. I told him, you got a couple months. You know what I'm saying? You got a couple months. As long as everything is free and clear with Job Corps, you're good. But see, he lied. He wasn't free and clear from Job Corps. He still owed them like 3 weeks. So if he didn't find a job, he had to go back, which must have been what his plan was in the back of his head. Because he didn't tell me about this shit. I found out because he's letting them call my phone because he doesn't have a phone. Still to this day, he's 25 years old and is still using Wi-Fi to make calls on his iPhone. And instead of just spending $10 a month and getting fucking one of those services. Shit, what's the one that Ryan Reynolds owns? Was it Mint Mobile? Get Mint Mobile, for God's sakes. But it's neither here nor there. Anyway. Now, mind you, when he got out here, he was set up. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't bring him out here and throw him on a cot in a corner on a floor somewhere with a fucking rotary phone and an old chalkboard. No. I went out and got him a brand new in-the-box fucking computer. Brand new. My 16-year-old son gave up his room and bed. I gave up having a room to myself so my 16-year-old didn't have to sleep out in the living room. You understand what I'm saying? This is what we did. This is how we welcomed him into our home. Because he's one of us, so we thought. So we thought. You know, like I said, some people can talk a really good fucking game. You know, and why wouldn't I believe my own child, right? Like, why wouldn't I? Why? Why would I think that my child would lie? Especially about something like that. Of course I'm not going to think that. You know, he says he's ready. You know, and at first he said he wasn't going to come. But then he changed his mind. I said, hey, you know what? Choice is yours. Just let me know, because when you get here, I'll make sure I get you. Because, you know, there's no bus directly to where we're at. I'm going to have to go to another state to get you. Right? Dropped $125 a week before he even got on the fucking bus just to make sure I had the fucking transportation to get him, because I didn't want to have to ask anybody. I didn't want to rely on cabs because that's spotty, and I just wanted to be the one to go get him. You know what I'm saying? So I spent $125, dropped it, cash, pow. You know what I'm saying? To use a car literally for a half an hour. That's what I spent because I wanted to get my son, right? Now, does any of this sound like someone who doesn't love their child? I'm curious. If anybody feels that the things that I did up to this point sounds like the things a father who doesn't love a child would do please tell me that you feel that way. And if you don't feel that way, well then let's continue on, right? So all these things he has, he says he's done with Job Corps. But now I get a phone call from them. They're looking for him. They're asking, has he gotten a job? I said, well, he had an interview, or he has an interview. This is when he has an interview. And today, as a matter of fact, and I'll let him know to call you, with an update. Yeah, well, if he doesn't have a job by such and such time, we have to bring him back. I was like, bring him back for what? Oh, he still has to finish. Oh, he didn't finish. Okay. So what that meant, folks, is that since he was still there, he has what's called PTO, which is paid time off. So he was still getting money from Job Corps, but he didn't say anything about that. And I didn't really care because at the time, things were financially straight in our house. We had food, all the bills are always paid, rent's always paid, everything was paid. We're good at the time, right? So it wasn't a big deal. Wasn't a big deal at all. Now I'm noticing how much money I'm spending on fucking food per week, and now it's becoming a big deal because I can't keep up with it, right? I got bills to pay and shit like that. And I got things that I'm investing in doing, like my businesses and stuff, and clothes I gotta get for the kids, the younger ones who can't work. So now I'm like, hey, listen, the whole job thing, you should really, since you started looking, continue because I need you to handle you. Like, start paying for your computer and maybe kicking on one of the bills that you use. Pick one, internet or electric. He picked internet. Lower bill, once a month, 60 fucking bucks. You can't beat that. It's not a hard thing to pay. So, at this point, folks, I'm not asking him to pay my rent. I'm not asking him to pay the electric bill. I'm not asking him to pay my phone bill. I'm not asking him to buy food for everybody. Just take care of the things that you use. Right? Okay, Dad, no problem, man. No problem, man. Blah, 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 blah. I don't say shit. Now, the day of his interview, he doesn't go. Like I said, he's just like, oh, I just didn't go. And I'm just looking at him like, what do you mean you just didn't go? Like, you was talking all this shit yesterday about going. I was like, you do understand we live in a very small town. Like, you do shit like that 2 or 3 times, you're not going to be able to find a job here because people know each other. You'll come in there, they'll be like, hey, there's this guy from Connecticut. He said he's worked at a couple places up here. Have you heard of him? Oh, yeah, that guy came in 2-3 days, didn't want to do shit, lazy as fuck, and quit. No call, no shit, just quit. Wow. Well, yeah, he's here talking about, he's looking for, don't hire him. And that's what would happen. You get blackballed real fast. So then he gets an interview with McDonald's, right? Goes once, the computer's down. Goes another time, something's wrong. Goes another time, it's too busy for orientation. So I'm just like, are you getting paid for any of this shit? He's like, no. I was like, so then what are you doing? Like, why are you wasting your time going down there? Well, I have the job. Yeah, but you see the kind of problems you're having just to go to orientation. What happens when your paycheck's fucked up? I mean, the computer's down, we can't pay you. Like, no, it's fucking unreliable shit. Besides, why are you just waiting on one thing? Like I said, I'm listening to him talk about these plans he has, and I'm watching him play video games all day. Like, literally, that's what he does all day. Play video games, smoke, and make beats that are weird. Not to say that mine aren't weird, but, like, these are really weird. Like, the kind of beats that I'm not... Hey, look, other people probably like him. He says he sells them. I know he's not because I never see him doing any kind of media transferring of them into a format, and I don't see him emailing them. He just sits there, makes them, and all of a sudden he supposedly sold them. Don't know how this works. For $25, like, is it the right to use or the right to own? Which one is it? There's a lot that goes into selling music. But that was his cover for, like, how he was about to start doing what he was doing. Now, mind you, I smoke, as you can see, right? And I share when I smoke. I don't ever just say, oh, this blunt's mine, you get out of here, I'm smoking to myself. I prefer to smoke with people. When I smoke by myself, I don't smoke a whole blunt. I'll put it out occasionally. But when I'm smoking with people, it's a social thing, I like to enjoy weed with friends. So, like, he didn't need to worry about that, right? But obviously, he wants to smoke way more than is necessary. So now he's going out behind my back, buying extra weed, and getting weed on credit through my Connect. my connect that he only can get weed through because of me, right? Like, he doesn't know anybody out here. You know, he doesn't know anybody out here. The only people he knows is through me. So I digress, right? Let's keep that in mind. Let's remember these little things. These are all facts. These are all facts. Facts that I can have the people who he owes money to back. Facts that I can have the people who he's taken things from state these things. Like, this is not speculation. I'm not making this shit up. I have no reason to. I have no reason to at all. Hurt as I am, I'm not angry. I'm not mad at all. I mean, he may think so. And maybe he's mad. He probably is mad because he's been forced to face himself in reality and hold himself accountable. And he doesn't want to do that. Like I said, I gave him a choice, the first time. He chose to stay. I said, okay, good. Get your shit together. Let's go. Now he's working at Panera Bread. It's been like a month or maybe 3 weeks. No money. Nothing. Food gone. I'm going to fill up the fridge. Still waiting on that. Then he's taking his brothers with him to go get weed on credit, which I don't understand why he's taking them with him to go to the weed shop anyway. That's like, you're supposed to be taking your brothers for walks and shit, and this is what you're doing. Because he wanted to have them complicit in his fuckery, which was him getting credit when he was told not to, him calling up our grandmother, his great-grandmother, and lying to her and saying that, things are bad here, which they're not, maybe for him because he can't eat an endless amount of food without replenishing it. 10 pounds of hot dogs gone in 2 days. Like, what kind of shit is that? Who does that? Who does that? That's foolishness. That's foolishness. It's gluttony. It's gluttony. And fine, you want to be a glutton, be a glutton, but pay for your own gluttony. Put your fucking money where your mouth is, and then put it down your throat if you want to, because that's what you're doing. But that's neither here nor there, right? So mind you, I'm very particular about my stuff. I don't like people touching my shit. It's my shit. It belongs to me. Now, this house, our home, is mostly shared space. I used to have my own space in my bedroom, but I don't have that now. So my space is right here in front of this computer, and everything from this desk to the right, up against the wall. Everything in this corner is mine. And no one in the house touches it. Everyone knows not to touch it. They don't touch it. They don't touch my stuff. No matter where it is. Unless I ask them to, which I never do. And I never ask anybody to touch anything on my desk because I have everything in a specific order. It may look messy to you, but I know where it is. And it's not messy. It's just things are... It looks random as fuck. You're like, why is there a folded card there with a receipt there and this envelope there with that book there? Why? Those just look like... Don't worry about it. I know why they're there. They're there for a reason. Anyway, right? So now, mind you, I was going to give him till Friday to actually speak to him because, me and the brothers have talked. Me and my other friend, we spoke about these things. And we all came to the consensus that, the fuckery has to stop. And we're going to talk to him about it and let him know this is what it is. And this is where we're going from here because you can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this. It's during these talks that I find out about the derogatory comments made towards his younger brothers, the lies to his grandmother to extract money from her to then go buy weed with, that he then would come in the house, roll up in front of us, and then go smoke by himself. Or go out and sneak out and smoke by himself. He's going out and sneaking out and buying snacks and eating them outside. Going out and buying drinks and eating those outside. Coming in with the empty cups and throwing them in the trash can. Like, instead of going to the store and buying something for everybody. Which makes no sense. Because when I buy food, I buy it for everybody. See, I'm gone from the house pretty much 10 to 12 hours a day. Except for on Saturdays and Sundays. So, I don't eat it. I don't eat or drink much of anything. I get up. I usually cook for them. If I don't cook as soon as I come home. And then I make a, container for myself. I take it to work and I eat dinner at work, usually by myself, which sucks. The only time I really get to eat dinner with my son is on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays we usually do a cookout with our dear friends Brittany and Austin, or sometimes they'll come down here and I'll do like tacos or some shit, which reminds me, maybe I'll do tacos this fucking weekend. Maybe I'll do tacos tomorrow. I do have the butter steaks already thawed out. It's only us three. That'll be enough tacos for the three of us. So I might have to get some shells. I don't know if I'm gonna make pico de gallo though. I might just make some different salsas, or maybe no salsa or pico. No, I don't know. Gotta have pico de gallo. I'm sorry, I was lying to myself. Oh, I'm not having tacos without pico de gallo and salsa and all the fucking trimmings and guacamole. I gotta have it all. Anyway, right? So yeah, the day comes, and I come home from work after working, I think it was a 10-hour shift that night, and it was a pretty rough night, it was a pretty rough night. And I walk in the door, and the first thing I see is that the computer is not where it's supposed to be. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? My son is looking at me, my 16-year-old is looking at me like, he knows that I'm about to fucking lose my shit. Because why would you move anything in the house that doesn't belong to you? And on top of one of my main rules is everybody has their own computer, but nobody goes into their own space to game. Nope. We all game together. Whether we're playing the same games or not, I don't care. We are all in this room right here together. If I turn over there, I can see what he's doing. And not that I don't trust them. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the fact that I am away from my family more than I am with them. I see the people I work with way more than I see my own kids. Shit, I see people from a shift that I don't even work on more than I see my own kids sometimes. Especially when school starts. Oh, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. I don't see the little one for like a whole week. But then he said he wants to go to online school, so I guess now I won't see the older one for a whole week. It just sucks, not seeing my kids. The ones that actually respect and love me and are loyal. That's one thing I can say about Miles and Jaden. They are loyal. They are very loyal. They love their father. At least that's what I feel. I mean, there's been times in the beginning when I kind of questioned it, and I can understand why they may have felt the way they felt. But I know now, if I hadn't known before, which I've known for quite some time now, that these two sons of mine are very loyal. They're loyal to each other and they're loyal to me. And I'm loyal to them. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for them. Nothing. And so when the shit came to a head and I spazzed on them about moving my stuff, why you have such an attitude? It's like, why are you touching my stuff? Well, you said the computer is mine. No, I said when you pay for it. Did you pay for it? No, so then how is it yours? I'm paying for it, so therefore it's mine. And besides the fact that even if it was your computer, what did I say about the way the house works? No computers in your rooms. But you have a computer in your room. I can have a fucking computer in my room because I'm not in my room. When I go to bed, I like to listen to fucking scary stories. That's what I use that computer for. I don't game on it, so I don't sit in front of it. And even if I did, it's my fucking business. But even I don't break my own rules. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like I'm not one of those types of parents who says, do as I say, not as I do. It's stupid. Kids are gonna do as you do and very rarely as you say. I'm lucky. I have sons that do both, as I say and as I do. And not always good with the as I do part, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I do some stupid shit. I won't say stupid, just spontaneous and impulsive things. Not in bad ways. Just, I'm like a kid sometimes. I enjoy life, and I like to enjoy life to the fullest, in my, definition of fullest. Which isn't like jumping off of airplanes or out of helicopters or skydiving or going into hot air balloons or any of that dumb shit. No. Just the things that we do. Like, one of the things that excites me more than anything, one of the things that brings me a lot of joy in my life is achieving. Ah!
Burn yourself?
Yeah, I did. Like right on the soft inner thigh part that you like never touch ever for whatever reason. It's just like super baby soft. Right there, right on the soft meat. Burnt it. Oh, I don't even remember what I was talking about now. What was I talking about? Loyalty, children, and stuff, and then skydiving. Oh yeah. One of the things that excites me the most about living is watching my children achieve their milestones. Like their milestones, not the milestones that society has set for them or that somebody else has, not even the ones that I set for them. Like my youngest son, he is magnificent when it comes to like animation and making games. Like, and not just, he doesn't just do it and it happens. Like, he knows what he's doing. Like, and I'm flabbergasted by it because I don't understand it. I've tried, and even with a fucking user interface that is for dummies, the whole thing of programming just escapes me. And it's probably because I don't have the patience for it. Like, I don't like code. I see life in patterns and shit as it is. And then to have those patterns made into even smaller patterns just bewilders me in a way that I don't want to be bothered with. It's just too tedious. You know what I'm saying? It's too tedious. But he fucking tackles that shit like a champ. I'll be looking at him like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm working on animation. You know, first it started out with some shit called flip a clip with like little stick figures. I think he started out with like 8 frames a minute or 8 frames a second or whatever it was. And then he upgraded that, and then it went from flip a clip to I don't even know what the fuck he uses now. I have no idea. But he does that. He's making games. He just downloaded the Unreal Engine. I told him, if you make something that is worthy of note, then of course I'll invest in getting the full version of Unreal. But it's like $1,000 a year. So what? You make a good game, that's billions if it's really good. Well, not billions, but you know, millions, depending. As long as you don't do all that microtransaction shit. But what I'm saying is, right now is the best time, in my opinion, at least with my 2 sons, to allow them the freedom to explore the things they want to explore. As long as they're going to school and doing what they're supposed to do at school. At home, I tell them, have at it. That's what you have computers for. You got questions, look it up, figure it out, do what you gotta do. And they do. They spend a lot of their time, well, Miles especially spends most of his time working, which bothers me because weekend comes and I want to fucking play video games with my kids, and I'm working, Dad. And then he gets a big, huge attitude when he can't work on what he wants to work on, almost to the point of like wanting to fight with you and shit. It's too serious. He's too serious. You gotta chillax, you know? Now, Jaden, on the other hand, he's got a lot of like hidden talents. Like, I'm not 100% sure what he's extremely good at, besides the fact that he seems to know how to make games work on computers they shouldn't work on. And he knows how to change settings and control parameters to make clipping not as bad. Like, I don't know how he does this. I don't know what made him one day decide to like go into the game settings and fuck with all these different settings to figure out how to make a game look decent and play decent on a shitbox computer. But he did. He did. He also seems to have his finger on the pulse of what our YouTube channel likes, because he's grown our channel, this channel here, he's grown it more than I did. In the past fucking like 8 months, he's gotten more subscribers than I did in 3 years. So kudos to him, you know. I'm not the type of person that feels like he has to live through his kids, if that makes sense. Like, I told him, have at it. You don't have to do these things, but why not? You know, if you enjoy it, do it and love it. And they do love it. You know, at first, I think Jaden was a little bit reluctant to want to do the like posting the videos on YouTube. I think he felt like it was a job, so to speak. So I offered him money, and I still owe him money. I actually owe him a lot of money at this point. Jesus Christ, it's like $2 a video I owe him, and he's posted at least like 100 videos, I would think, or close to that. He's posted a lot of videos. So, you know, I gotta make do. I gotta make, good on that. And it's just been, things have been a little financially up and down, so I haven't really had the extra money to just put aside and say, here, you know. But I do keep tabs on things like that because I don't like to lie to my kids. You know, I like to be a man of my word. Which brings me back to the oldest one. Gave him three choices, right? After all this shit. I gave him three choices. I said, you can either contribute, which means fall into the fold. Live your life right like we're living, and things will be okay. Or if you don't want to live by contribution, well, then you can be a tenant here. Since you take up space, eat food, and use things, you can pay us a quarter of all of those expenses. And you can't afford that. So, why don't you just be part of the contribution? Now, the third thing is you can go. They're not going to make you stay here. But if you can't live by the freaking rules of the house, well, then you can choose to leave. It's live by the rules or you choose to leave. I'm not going to physically remove you because you are my child. I would never throw one of my children into the street without any means. And see, I know my oldest son has means. That's the type of kid he is. Kid, not man, kid. He has somebody in the wings waiting to rescue him because he'll tell them some story about how messed up I am, or I was drunk, or whatever he comes up with, or that I was going to kill him, or I was threatening him, or somebody else threatened him. Whatever serves his fancy. I can only imagine what it was because when he left here, the day that he made the choice to go, I said I need an answer by tomorrow morning before I go to work. I don't care if I'm sleeping, waking up. He said, I'm going to take option 3. Okay, well. Now, here's where it gets funny. So, we come home the next day, or I come home the next day, and now he's trying to talk to everybody like he didn't just choose to say, basically he said, fuck you guys. I ate your food. I took advantage of your kindness, of your welcoming nature, and of your love, and now I'm going to bounce. Fuck everything I took from you. Fuck what I owe you. Oh yeah, and by the way, when you go to get weed from your guy, he's gonna tell you I owe him money. And now since I'm not there, because you're a man of honor, you're gonna pay it. And that's exactly what's going on in his fucking head. Because I know him. I know him. I know him. I thought he changed. I thought that old behavior, that entitlement, that trickery, that deceitful narc shit was gone. I really did. And when I started noticing that it wasn't, it started to make me really uncomfortable. It started to make me feel really, as my bro says, icky. And I didn't like it. Then the kids started feeling that way. And this is why I came to what it was. But I already knew he had his plan because the next day, his bag was packed before he had even done anything. So I know that night he was on the phone with, most likely, his mother. Because she's the only one who could afford to buy him a bus ticket and pay for a cab from here to Youngstown. Unless, of course, he had his $600 stipend. Which, if he did, he would most likely still tell someone else to pay for it so he can keep that for himself to go smoke it all up in probably 4 days. Maybe 6. I figure maybe $100 a day. He'll smoke it like it's fucking crack. But, to each his own. So yeah, He made the great escape because he did not want to be accountable for his actions. And he didn't want to face the consequences of them either. And the fact that he says he now has one parent, well, that's your choice. You have to live with that, not me. You made that choice. You made it. Now, if you ever piss your mother off and she throws you out, which she will throw you out, because she has a whole husband who doesn't want to be bothered with your nonsense. And when they say you have to leave, don't call me, because you can't come back. If you do come back to this state in this area, I hope you have set things up for yourself, because you don't get a second chance after you betray your family the way you betrayed us. You don't get a second chance. We're not going to take the chance of you doing that again. We're not. We made that perfectly clear. Your little brother is definitely not. You really fucked up with him. And I don't know if you're ever going to be able to repair that damage, because your brothers really loved you. And if they may still, I don't know if they don't. See, they're like their mom in a way. And I kind of like this part of them, is they can shut people out of their fucking lives. I like that about them, because I know for a fact that they're not going to let you fuck them over again. Even if I'm not around, I could be dead. You might try to pop up and act like you're different. They're going to see that shit coming a mile away. You don't know who the fuck they were raised by. You don't know who the fuck they had to deal with. Actually, you do know, but you act like you don't. But you don't know what they dealt with. Changes people dealing with a person like that, especially when you're around them for a very long time. It rubs off on you. It's like dirt that you can't get off. And you're mad about it because you don't want it. But it comes in handy from time to time. And it's coming in handy for you, because you made your choice. You chose. You chose to publicly say that you have one parent. That's interesting, that you only have one parent. That must mean that I'm not your father, because I never was your father, and your real father is probably dead. Or maybe you just really mean that I'm not your dad, because I made you fucking face reality and didn't allow you to back down from it. Neither did your younger brothers. You'll learn one day. I just hope it's before your daughter's life follows the same path yours is going, because for a girl, that is not a good look, buddy. Not a good look. You already know what'll end up happening if she's anything like you. She won't be making the babies, alright? She won't be making them. But she'll sure enough have plenty of them if you don't snap out of your fucking nonsense and raise your daughter, and stop talking about raising her and talking about what you're going to do when you're not doing anything. Calling your child on a fucking phone and having a video chat for 15 minutes is not raising your child. That does not make you a father. Okay? Does not. Doesn't even come close. You're a dad. There's a million, billion fucking dads out there. There's a handful of real fathers. And I say handful, not meaning there's only a few hundred. I mean, out of the billions of people in this world, maybe a quarter of those, if they're all men, are real fathers. Real fathers are rare. I'm not saying I'm a real father. It's not for me to decide. I'm a father. That much I am. A dad I am not. Never have been. Always been a father. Now, do I fall into the category of the realest of fathers? That's up for my children to decide. And I know one of them has decided that I am not his father at all. I am not the father! Like we're on a fucking Goddamn Maury show in fucking Stanford and shit. You know. You know how people say you can't choose your parents, right? They always say that. So you can't choose your parents. Well, you can't choose your fucking kids either. Is a goddamn screen that you like pick your child before it's incepted, conceived? No, there's no fucking such thing. So for anybody who says you don't choose your parents, well, you don't choose your kids either. Just shut the fuck up. And to those fucking kids, oh, didn't ask to be here. I say, if you were asked, what would you have said? Since you wouldn't have known the future, you wouldn't know the future at all. Something just comes down and says, hey, life, want it? What is it? It's life. It's the opposite of what's happening right now. You're going to say yes. You're going to say yes. You're not going to say no. You're not going to, oh no, I don't want the opposite of what's happening right now. Because what if nothing's happening, right? Nothing at all is happening. It's just darkness and blackness. It's just nothing, obviously, because you're not born yet. Something says, gives you a sneak peek, right? It just opens up the curtain a little bit, and you're just like, oh, yes or no? Who says no? No one says no. Shut the fuck up. Now, of course, if you could see your fucking life and see the future, and let's say your life is just terrible as fuck, you're a bum, most of it, stink, people spit on you, you can't do anything about it because you live in a place where maybe bums have to take this type of punishment. And you see this is your life. And you know, you go throughout the whole thing and it never changes, right? Or maybe it does, but you have to lose so much of yourself before that wonderful change happens that you're just like, I'm not going through this shit. Then yeah, maybe some people would say no. Maybe they would. See, me, I wouldn't. If someone showed me this life that I have right now, and they told me this is exactly how it's going to happen, there's nothing you can do to change it at all. Even though now you know, and you would probably not do this, you have to do it. Like, it's set in stone. If you don't do it, then you won't exist, right? And you can choose yes or you can choose no. I would say yes. I would do this all over again. I would do it all over again. I would do it all over again. I'd be a little smarter, obviously. I would know what to expect. Knowing that I couldn't change any of it, I would just change my mind on how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So that I wouldn't have come out at the end of it so shredded up trying to figure out just regular everyday shit when it comes to fucking people. People confuse me now, and I hate that. I don't know whether to believe them, not believe them. I don't know what their intentions are. I'm always trying to figure them out before I, like, you know, try to keep people away from me. Not like I was when we were in Connecticut, like always friendly and always trying to be friends with everybody. No, I don't want to be friends with anybody. Like, people have to like make me be friends. And if they go that far, then generally they're not trying to fuck with you. At least I found that's the way the people are out here. Like, if they really bug you to, you know, be a part of their life, they actually really want you to be a part of their life. And it's still weird though. It's still weird. And sometimes I don't like it. Because then, like, for a small moment, I let my guard down and I'm vulnerable. And I don't want to be vulnerable. I can't be vulnerable, you know. I can't fall apart. So my sons depend on me, you know. That's a promise I made to them. Like, I gotta be here for them at all costs. Now, no matter what. I don't care if I'm sick, tired, or I don't feel like whatever it is that I have to do. There is no quit. There is no stop. There is no pause. There's go. Always go. All the time, go. Go, go, go. That's the only word I know when it comes to them is go. And my sons, for the type of shit that the brainwashing and the manipulating that their mother, or whatever you want to call her, the sack that held them in and then shat them out. I hate to say that, but you know, I don't want to give her any credit for them. I really don't. She doesn't deserve any of it. You know, they're only like her because she twisted them that way. because there's nothing good about her. Like, not that I can find. There's good in her if you are a good person and you have some of these traits, but all her traits are negative. Every single one of them. And I didn't see it at first. I was so fucking blind that I just didn't realize it. But there is not one good thing about her. You know, the only good thing about her was her children. And she just threw them away like nothing. Like a fucking pair of dirty underwear that she just fucking got tired of. Trash. Or maybe threw them in the bottom of a fucking dresser. You know, now they're period panties. She'll come back for them when she feels like it, if she feels like it, you know. But that's not happening. I'm not allowing her to be around my children. I don't care if they're adults and she comes slinking her way around in a wheelchair or whatever with some sob story about her house being lost or some disease she has. Get away from my children. You're not ever gonna be able to manipulate them, especially with that. Like, I'm serious. I know you don't watch my shit, but if you do, and if you ever are like terminally ill, don't bother us or don't bother them. And you can tell me whatever you have to tell them, but you're not gonna put that on their conscience. You know, you're not gonna do that to them. I swear to God, I won't allow you to. Anybody who's had to deal with children that have been psychologically and emotionally abused and sometimes physically abused, it's a fucking it's a chore. It's a chore picking up the fucking pieces and putting them back together again. It's, they're fragile sometimes, you know. And we don't have time for that. And there's so many times I gotta snap on them. Like, yeah, shit sucks. Get over it. And people think that's mean. They really do. And I have to correct them. We are men. There is no woman here. There is no nurturer. There is no coddler. There is no one that is going to tell you it's going to be okay. Because for men, it's not okay. So why am I going to fucking lie to them? That's what mothers do. You know why they do that? Because when you're with them, you feel safe. You want to have fun, and you know there's danger with dad. There's always danger. You go to parks, you fall, you scrape your knee, and if your dad is anything like my dad or like me, you bust your ass. You bust your ass. I'm not running over there to pick you up and fucking pat you. No, you better shut the fuck up. Shit happens. You scrape your knees, you get fucking running around. I told you not to, right? Okay, that's what it is. Like when my son had to learn how to ride his bike with two wheels. I'm looking at him and he keeps putting his fucking feet down. He's walking it all the time. And I'm just looking at him like, he needs to fall. And that's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of what's going to happen when he falls. Like, he's going to fucking fall for a million years out of the sky or something. It's a fucking bike. So, you know, I set it up where he would fall. Of course, he didn't know this, or else he wouldn't have fucking did what he did. But yeah, I put him on a nice gradual hill. It was kind of rocky. I mean, it was like a driveway type thing. And I knew because of how he is, he's going to lock up and just keep going forward. Now, I didn't expect him to hit what he hit. I expected him to go off that curb, though, and like maybe hit the house or the garage or the trash cans. But he he hit a planter and like went head over heels. He scraped his ankle. It was bloody and shit. Not like super bloody or anything. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, that's really fucking mean. I didn't push him. I just set him on the path to fall and get it the fuck over with. And guess what happened after he fell? He rode that fucking bike. He rode that bike every day after. It couldn't stop him. Couldn't fucking stop him. I had to sit there and coddle him and shit and show him is fucking how much more can you show a kid how to ride a bike? Two pedals, two handlebars, pedal, hold the fucking handlebars, right? That part's easy. The rest of it is all fear. It's just the fear of falling. Just like most people don't want to fight because they're afraid of what's going to happen if they get punched in the face. I've been punched in the face quite a few times. I don't particularly care for it. It hurts. It could break bones. But it most times is not going to kill you, especially if you return punches back at the other person. But yeah, you know, most things people are afraid of are because they don't want to either feel, you know, the results of whatever it is. Like I'm afraid of heights because I don't want to fall and get smushed on the ground when body hits ground at a high rate of speed and just splatters. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be good for me at all. Oh, I believe my son has corpsed. That's what they call it. I don't know, we have this, I don't know if it's a language, so to speak. I wouldn't call it a language. We just have our own set of words and slangs and things. Like rather than saying one is sleeping, we refer to each other as corpses. Because most of us don't like go to bed like normal people do. We don't have a bedtime. I don't make them go to bed until it's time for school. Then, I'll give them a parameter to be within. You need to be functional at this time. You need to get this amount of sleep. So figure out how it works. And you're scheduled to do these things at this time. You know what I'm saying? I try to let them manage their own time without me having to do it for them. If I have to constantly remind them of shit, then they're not learning anything. Then I'm the brain. I don't want to be their brain. I have enough trouble being my own brain. I don't want to think for anybody but myself. Now, as far as me having to have physically disciplined any of them, the younger ones, no. The older ones, my two older children, yeah, because they had a mother that cared about them, and they were spoiled. They wanted to do what they wanted to do, and they thought they were gonna do what they wanted to do. And no, they weren't gonna do what they wanted to do, and they didn't get to do what they wanted to do without consequences. Now the younger two, well, the 16-year-old, he's always been a very calm, very respectful, very reserved, very laid back kid. Even when he was a baby, he didn't really, like, he just looked at a lot of shit. Like, he just took everything in. Like, he was just analyzing everything. Like, he knew the edge of the bed was not a place he wanted to be. He'd go up to it, look over, and then he would just look. And then he'd back up and chill. And I'm talking about as a baby. Like, he never fell off the bed. And not that I left him on the bed on purpose, unsupervised. I supervised him. I wanted to see if he was going to roll off. I know what you're thinking. That is fucked up. No, it is not. It's not fucked up. How else is your child going to learn boundaries if they don't explore them? Now, of course, I'm standing there. If he goes to fall, I'm not going to let him fall unless I know he's not going to get hurt by it severely. A little pain at a young age is not terrible as long as you're not causing it for them. Now, does that make me irresponsible? Maybe to some, but not in my opinion. Because, like I said, he didn't fall off the fucking bed. He realized it's not a place to be on the floor as a baby that can't get up and walk. Now, my youngest son, my mom used to say this to me a lot. He's just like you. Like, just like you. And I'm looking at this fucking kid, right? And I'm like, he is nothing like me. He can't stand me. Like, he does not like me at all. He could not, for like the first 2 or 3 years, like 2.5, he didn't like me. And like, he really didn't like me. And I don't know why he didn't like me. But he always told me he hated me. say fuck you. Yes, my young son's first words were hate you and fuck you. I'm assuming he got them from his mother. You know, who knows what she was saying when I was at work. Probably a lot of hate you and fuck you. Maybe she was saying it to him. I don't know. But that's what he said. Not dada, not mama. Fuck you. I wish back then I had a fucking camera phone to record them. I would have saved that. And I would have memed it every year around some time where something where that theme is funny would make sense. Except it would be a baby saying it. Not like a little 3-year-old or 4-year-old kid. No, no, no. A baby. A fucking baby that can't even walk. Is talking shit. He used to talk shit to his brother. It's hilarious. I remember one time he crawled over to him. His brother was laying down on a pillow or some shit, playing with a toy. He just rolled up on him, like crawled up on him and grabbed him by his shirt. He said, fuck you, Jaden. Fuck you. And I'm just looking at this little kid. I'm looking at this little kid. And I'm thinking to myself, that's nothing like me. Nothing like me at all. Right? But of course, how am I supposed to know how I was when I was a kid? I mean, my grandmother tells me, you know, I was a nice kid. And maybe she's lying to me. I don't know. I got into a lot of shit, I know that much. Very inquisitive. And so is he. So, like, now that I'm older and he's gotten older, like, he acts just like I did. Except he's more sheltered. And when I say sheltered, he didn't grow up around a lot of people. He grew up in the house because he was homeschooled. Because she's crazy. She didn't want to... I don't know what the fuck her idea was, but I worked. And at the time, you know, the other one was doing fine with the homeschooling thing. It seemed like a win-win for me. I didn't have to go to schools, and because I was always the one that had to deal with all the school shit. So, hey, I got to teach my kids some shit. They're smart kids. They ended up going to school anyway, and they're doing fine. So anybody who's like homeschooling doesn't work, tell that to my youngest son, who brags about it all the time. They ask him why he's so smart. And I'm not saying he's so smart because he was homeschooled, but he was homeschooled from the day he was born up until he went to school at the age of 10. And he's now 13. So his entire education has been what he absorbed more than what he was taught. Because me and him absorb shit. Like, I don't have to have somebody teach me stuff. Just leave me around it, and if I'm interested, I will learn. And that's how he is. Same thing with the 16-year-old. They're both kind of like sponges. He just, like I said, my 16-year-old, he just keeps everything to himself. He doesn't, he's like a ninja. You know what I'm saying? He's like a fucking ninja. Like, he's got like katanas and fucking shurikens, ninja darts, poison blowguns. A whole kit bag of stuff. It's a kit bag of stuff. And then there's my oldest, who makes music, and oh, I forgot, my youngest one does music too. Like, he's an advanced me. Like, I want to make cartoons. I always wanted to make cartoons when I was little. I drew like a whole comic strip and everything. I always wanted to make video games when I was younger. I used to draw these little fucking side-scrolling platform games. I wish I could find all my old notebooks. Always wrote stories. I wanted to make like a movie. Like, I always wanted to entertain people, but from a distance. Sort of like, you know, this whole YouTube thing. That's why I kind of like it, because maybe you're entertained, maybe you're not. I'm entertained, you know, and maybe it's like therapy. I think that's what it is. It's more like therapy. It's like, even if there's no one here, which there's not, I can pretend that you're there, so I can talk to people even though they're not there. I know what you're probably saying. Why don't you just go get help? I don't have time for all that shit right now. You know, I'm still trying to settle my family. And it's like every single time we get settled, somebody comes around and fucks shit up. And it's always the people who aren't supposed to do that. And the sad thing is, I feel like I'm gonna miss out on the people that should be in our lives, because eventually I'm just gonna shut the steel trap, welded closed, and just be like, no more, no. Just I'm happy with y'all. Let's just be a family, and fuck everything and everyone else. But then, what kind of experience do we have? That'll be just like what we left from. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that I'm fighting not for us to go back to, is being isolated. Like, yeah, we have computers and stuff, but every weekend we go outside. I mean, I take a walk with them every day anyway. Like every day, we go out, and I don't care how hot it is. Take a walk. Sometimes we'll walk all the way to the park, and that's kind of far, especially in this fucking muggy ass humidity. Fucking hate humidity. Can't breathe. Feel gross. So there's always this like this moisture. It's all over you. It's on your feet, bottom of your feet, in between your toes. Smelling like provolone cheese. Stinky. You know, baby powder, puff, puff. Girls, women, walking around, breasts, sweating, shirt all wet right up under the bra, you know, if you're wearing one. If you're not, well, then it's even worse. Big wet t-shirt contest from sweat. Just from sweat. Nipples showing, people looking. Other women who are smart enough to wear bras on days like this, or just with a little more class than you, looking at you like, you know, mad because their kids are there and now they see this. And now little Johnny is excited. He's asking mom questions that mom doesn't want to answer. You know, she catches little Johnny in the bathroom with fucking Playboy, if they still have those shits in paper form. He's going to town. You know, she's embarrassed. He's even more enthused at her embarrassment, right? Because just so happens she wasn't wearing a bra and the air conditioner wasn't working, and now her nipples are showing. And he just goes crazy. I know you're thinking it's disgusting, and it is disgusting. And she had little Johnny arrested immediately, taken out of the home, thrown into jail, thrown in there. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. All I know is I cannot sleep. I want to sleep. I want to sleep. But, you know, shit happens. Shit happens. Sometimes I wonder though, you know, like, what if we never left Connecticut? Like, where would we be now? I fear it would be much worse. Much, much worse. If I was even still alive. But definitely much worse. I mean, it's been a struggle here, I'm not gonna lie. And then when I say struggle, I don't mean struggle as far as financially. I mean, there's been some financial hiccups, but for the most part, we're good. You know, we have a roof over our head and bills are paid. And there's food in the fridge. That's, yeah, you know, we don't have a vehicle. Well, we have a vehicle, but it's not drivable because of registration reasons. But it is working, you know, you just can't legally drive it. Already got caught doing that once. And the police officers here in Hermitage were nice enough to let me go. They didn't even fucking call it in. They just like, you know, we talked for a little while and shit. Told them my situation. Told them I was coming home from work, which I was. It's like 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. It was early in the fucking morning. I know that much. And like, I thought that, you know, they were probably gonna lock me up. At least tow the car and shit. I knew the plate wasn't the right plate. No insurance, no registration, no kind of stuff right? Except for a bill of sale, you know. And they were cool enough to let me go. So I'm gonna do something nice for the police department here because there's only like 30 police officers, and they're pretty decent cops. I mean, I got pulled over twice actually. I mean, I wasn't driving the second time, and we had just finished puffing some weed. Weed is not legal here, so yeah, there's that. And they let us go again. I told them I actually went after the first incident and spoke to the chief of police. I know, right? Me speaking to police. And he was a nice dude. He really was a nice dude. And introduced my sons to him and shit. And you're probably like, why would you do that? Because I want the police to know who my kids are. So God forbid some shit's going on and they say over the radio, young black male, and they see my sons, they know, well, those are so-and-so's kids. They must just be out for a walk because they don't do anything. They're gamers and animators and stuff. Stay in the house, they go to the park, they go to Ohio and chill and do things, and that's what they do. Or, hey, Miles, come here, what are you doing? Not bang, 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 or beat down, your poor kid because, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time or some dumb shit. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll make something to eat because I am actually kind of fucking hungry. I had a breakfast sandwich all day yesterday. That's all I had is a fucking breakfast sandwich. I feel like being a fucking gluttonous pig, frying some French fries, slicing some steak up, and then putting like melted cheddar on them or cheddar sauce. That sounds good. Well, I'm just gonna drink the rest of this and then I'm gonna let you guys go because, well, there's no one here and I'm talking to myself. I've been talking to myself probably the past, holy shit, hour and almost a half. But I had to get some shit off my chest, Had to get some shit off my chest. And I wanted to do so in as respectfully a way as possible. I didn't want to be disrespectful or rude or say a whole bunch of shit that was derogatory and mean. Just facts. Just facts. Oh, I love it. I love it when a plan comes together. I absolutely do. Tomorrow is going to be a wonderful day. Or, I mean today. Later today is going to be a wonderful day. I can go do some laundry. Oh, God. I should just stay up until 8 o'clock. Do the laundry. Crash out for like 2 hours. Wake back up at 10. And then clean the house. Not that it needs a whole lot of cleaning, but I like to at least vacuum the rug, make sure everything looks spiffy. Dust, perhaps, maybe. Sure, I will. Do that, I shall. Then I'll think about what I'm gonna do with my sons. We love sushi. Sushi is such a wonderful thing. Now, see, I'm gonna get all excited, and I'm not gonna go to sleep at 8 o'clock at all, and then I'm gonna stay up for the entirety of this day, which I don't need to do that. And then I'll start acting weird. I'll start laughing uncontrollably. Everything will be funny to me. People will be looking at me like, what in the fuck is wrong with this guy? And I'll have to tell them what's wrong with me. I'll have to tell them. And they won't like it. They won't like it. And I won't be able to blame them, That's the thing. Is I won't be able to blame them. I'll have to accept everything that they're giving me. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get off this computer now and play some video games for a little bit until the sun comes up. Then I'm gonna walk around, pay bills, and then I'm going to go grocery shopping, buy some food. Maybe a new game. I'm not sure. Or I'll download it. No, 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 no. I know what I'm gonna do. You guys have a wonderful morning or evening or afternoon. If you watch this, I wouldn't watch it. It's just a whole bunch of rambling. Take care of yourselves, people. Remember something. Sometimes everything that you want, you already have. You just don't realize it because you're so caught up in wanting it. You know what I'm saying? Chew on that nugget for a little while.